Hello, everybody. We saw Insidious: The Last Key, director Adam Lovell, I think, starring I don't like
old lady that stars in all of the Insidious
and
movies.
no one else except the Hot Pocket guys. So we saw this movie like an hour ago, and we have some thoughts on it. Let's first start with the pros. What did we like about this movie?
I personally thought that the little girl that in the beginning that you'll see that plays younger lady that's in all of the Insidiouses, Abel, I think is her name.
Ethel.
Ethel.
A classical person name. I don't think
Starts
that's
with
it.
an
No.
A. We need to do
Elise.
Elise. I think she did a good job in her scene with her father, where she gets locked in the basement. I think that she performed well.
Which is crazy because usually like little kids in movies are not the best, like at all. But you know what I've always thought? Like, how cool would it be? Like, if you were a little kid and you're like cast in a horror movie, I feel like that's literally your dream come true as a little kid, because you're that possessed kid that just every little kid wants to be when they watch scary movies. I think like if I was a little kid, I'd shit my pants.
I also like the relationship between Elise and her brother Charles.
Christian.
I like the
I'm good
relationship
at names.
between Elise and Christian. I thought that it was the strongest relationship in the movie, probably the most believable. It's the only character's relationship that you actually care about throughout the whole movie.
There's a scene in the middle where she sees Christian like all these years, and it's a good scene. But then like something later in the film happens that it was just kind of like it kind of contradicts the scene at the diner, the good scene, and it just kind of like, well, it was good when we saw it, but now it has no relevance whatsoever.
And that's kind of the whole problem with these movies. They take these ideas and things that could have been good, but it just kind of decides to throw them all away. Which I guess leads us to our cons. If you're looking for a horror movie, I mean, it's about like any other horror movie you'll ever see.
So like if you're expecting like Get Out or the new remake of It, like you're not gonna get that like at all. Like if you liked Insidious 1, Insidious 2, even Insidious 3, you'll probably like this movie. It's just a fine horror movie. Like it's just like a B-grade horror movie that was just made to sell and get money off of, but it's not really, they didn't put work into it. By the way, the title should not be The Last Key. It should be Insidious, the Magical Whistle. Because there's so much about the whistle and not about the key in this. You'll find out when you watch it, if you watch it.
And another problem I had with the movie is that I wanted to sleep during it.
Those were our cats.
I wanted to sleep throughout the whole thing, which I feel like is the total opposite of what a horror movie can do. I can see in a drama maybe getting sleepy, but to feel like a horror movie drags on and actually think to yourself while you're watching it, man, I wish I was taking a nap right now. I feel like that says a lot of how it was as a movie. It dragged on. All the jump scares bored me. I mean, it got a couple jumps out of me. I think one time I actually screamed, but I mean, like...
Well, granted, she screams at, like, everything, though. But it's, like, some people are like that, though. But, like, the thing is, jump scares are the cheapest way to scare people. Like, if you want... Like, take Get Out, my favorite horror movie, for instance. Like, it has no jump scares, but, like, it builds up that tension, and then, and then the payoff is, like, awesome. And it's just, like, I think that's how you do a good horror movie. You can get away with, like, one jump scare. That's me being, like,
I feel like that's
generous.
being very, very picky,
It is.
actually.
It's also me being very generous. But, like, a good horror movie is just... shouldn't have that. And it's like there was no tension. Like you're watching the movie, and because of the slow pace, like it's slower than most horror movies should be. Like Insidious 1 was faster. Like it was just a slow movie, and so it bored you, so there was no tension build up. So when the jump scare happened, it happened just to happen.
And that's the problem with it, is you would think because it's so slow you'd feel some tension, that you'd be on the edge of your seat, but not even a little bit. Like I just didn't care, and I think that's another problem that leads us into the next problem, is you just don't care about what happens in this movie. I mean, there is probably my biggest problem with the movie, or the script at least, was the humor in it, and I get why a horror movie would want humor. I mean, look at Get Out, look at It. I mean, those are genuinely funny movies. I'm pretty sure, like, Jordan Peele's a funny writer. I mean, we were expecting that, but I mean, like, when you watched Insidious, I think the scariest part of the entire movie was their feeble attempt at humor. Because I feel like their jokes were an attempt to make you care about certain characters, particularly the Hot Pocket dudes, and there was this running joke between the Hot Pocket dudes and the two girls that are in the movie, and they never change it up. They never change the punchline, and you just don't care. It didn't make me care about Specs anymore. It didn't make me care about the other one anymore. They don't serve any purpose in this particular movie other to make that one joke. And it's not even funny joke to begin with.
No, he tries it twice, and then the first time it didn't work. The second time it still didn't work. So it's like, come on.
Let's not even mention she's a sidekick, and we're the sidekick, and the Ghost Tobago, or what was it? The Haunt Tobago?
The Ghost Tobago. I don't know. You just have to.
It was just not.
We just basically gave away those jokes, but it's like you're not gonna like. It's not a spoiler.
If you had a brain, you could pretty much predict those jokes anyway.
I mean, there was like one part I laughed at because the guy, I don't know his name. It looks like the wheelchair guy from Grand Theft Auto 5. I don't know his name though, but he's like the one like really trying to get with the two teenage girls. By the way, forced relationship with both of them. It was terrible. It was
and they're teenagers. You just saying that made me realize that they're both teenage. These guys are like 30. That guy's balding.
He looks like the guy from GTA 5. It's funny because they're like, what was it? It was like the girl. One of the girls was like looking through like paintings and stuff, or trying to find something, and then he's like, he does something, and she's like, "Is everything a joke to you?" And then he says something, and then she like looks at him like, and I'm like, "What? Make up your mind, woman." Or like, at the end, it's like the other girl gets with the GTA 5 guy, like she just kind of like smiles at him like flirty, and I'm like, "What? Okay." I mean,
I guess if that's how the story's going. I mean, you can't judge it too harshly. I mean, me and him both went into it. We had a conversation before we went, knowing it was going to be a horror movie, knowing it's not going to do anything different than The Woman in Black did, what the Insidious 3 did, what any other horror movie did. None of them surprised me. I mean, if you love that, this is a perfect flick to put on for Halloween, or if you want to like,
Granted, it is slower than the other Insidious movies, so you might be a little bit more bored this time than the other movies, but there were a few things that so it was weird because it was very slow at the beginning, and then they started doing like started picking up, and they started doing something very interesting, and it was like, okay, I've never seen this in a horror movie before, or
never seen it in Insidious before,
yeah, exactly. And it was kind of just like it was kind of a cool concept, but then like. And it kind of like, once it picked up and ended, it just, that interesting thing just kind of just faded away. And it's just like, well, you could have kept the whole movie like this, but they just didn't. They just stopped after that. It was a good scene though.
I did like, because at the end, and I think a lot of people were expecting this, it kind of tied into the first one. And I did like that. I thought that was interesting. It was a very predictable movie. And the ending, like, that connects to
the first movie, I liked it, but it was very lazily done. The movie wasn't even that scary. So, this literally the scariest part of the movie was right when we got to the theater. The Pepsi I snuck into the theater like exploded on me, like in the theater while the movie was going on. That was pretty scary. I did not expect it. That was the scariest part of our movie experience watching this movie. So I would give this score a soda bottle exploding all over your pants and the chairs and your girlfriend is unexpectedly way more scarier than this movie. So I'd give it translation, we'll say 5.5.
I give it a forced, low-key pedophilic relationship out of 10.
Out of 10? So, translation.
Around a 5.
5.
It was okay. Forgettable at best.
Verdict. Just if you like horror movies, you'll probably like this movie.
We did.
If you like really crave like a really good horror movie, you're not gonna get it. But this is our review of Insidious: The Last Key. We're trying out this review thing. It's a hobby of ours. We love talking about movies. We'll see where it goes. So, maybe another video. I don't know. Alrighty.
Say bye,
Wait.
Bev.
This is how we should end every video. Okay. Say bye, Bev and Riku. Bev, Riku.
Bye.
They hate us.